Hello, Simone! Today is going to be an interesting episode. That is an episode that was spurned from something that happened as we recorded other episodes, some of which haven't even gone live yet. But basically, we occasionally, when there's sexual statistics, we'll go through them and we'll be like, oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? Right? Because
people typically break things down by, are you gay? Are you straight? Are you lesbian? Or are you bi? Or are you trans? And then
yeah, and every time we've done this, there's been this little phenomenon that I always throw out in the moment, right? It's always like, well, you have the straight people who are typically doing pretty well. Then you have the gay people that are typically doing middling. Then you have the trans people, which are typically doing pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, you have the bi people who are off the charts doing bad.
Yeah.
Which is weird because if I was thinking about it, I would think that the data would typically go straight, bi, gay, trans.
Yeah, because especially like if you're bi, it's almost like you get the best of all worlds. Like if you want to live your best gay life, you get to do that. If you want to live your straight life and conform with society, you could do that. Like,
yeah, the last thing I would have expected was straight, gay, trans, bi.
Yeah. Like you think that you're all terrain. You're all terrain sexual. Like, why is this
an all terrain sexual? Yes. Oh, so let's dig into this because one, when I look into it, you find it in any statistic you're looking at.
Yes, and that's the thing, is it always shows up, and we always have other things to talk about, so we don't dive in. But what is going on?
All right, so let's start with a graph here, okay?
Okay.
So this graph is mental health by sexual orientation, okay?
Okay.
So on the far left, you've got hetero female. Okay, they're doing pretty well. They're in the positives here.
Oh.
And then hetero male. Oh, the only other group in the positives. That's nice. That's
good
nice.
for them. Okay.
Okay, so who's got the next best mental health? Just a little bit down in mental health, okay? Your gay males.
Honestly, I'd expect them to do better, so this is a little surprising, but
pretty close to fine. Okay, then who's doing next best? Okay, just about twice as bad as gay males. All right. Here you've got gay females. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at bisexual females because they're the next down.
Oh boy.
They are doing about 5 times worse than gay males.
Whoa, man.
Like, significantly worse.
Okay.
So, but then the farthest down is bisexual males.
Oh,
which is just off the charts.
So weird, because like we even talked about like even I was just listening to some Asmongold today, being like, oh man, when I was a teen, I wished I were gay because it would just be so much easier.
No, I actually before I went through puberty, I had the thought of like, life's going to be so much more fun if I'm gay.
No, like, I think a lot of guys have that thought. And here's the thing, like, I think in some ways it can suck to be gay because, like, let's say you're religious, right? And you want to have a family, like you want to pursue the sacrament of having a family, but like the idea of banging a woman is super repugnant, right? So that sucks because then it would be really hard to have a family. Either you have to
but
have
if
a
you're
beard,
not
like,
born, I wasn't born in a religious family. You know, I didn't have, you know.
But even then, like if you want to live a maximally hedonic life, then it helps to be attracted to men because women are a lot harder to access and gay communities are super fun. But like
not only that,
to have the option. So like you think that you'd be way better off either way.
You know what your partner wants and can model that, right?
Yeah.
But then 2, you can do things and pleasure max in a way. There is nothing I can do as a straight man that's like Fire Island. There's nowhere I can go where there's like a ton of women that want to sleep with me, right? Like if I'm a hot guy, there's literally nowhere on earth I can go that is even remotely like a gay cruise or Fire Island or something like that.
Oh, but like the female equivalent.
Well, yeah, where it's just like everyone there is a woman who wants to bang me, right?
Well,
like,
I mean, there is. It's like Epstein Island, except all the women are miserable, and then they write tell-all books and talk about how terrible it was, and then you get Prince Andrew, and your life is awful. So yeah, no, there really isn't. Like if only Prince Andrew was gay, none of this would have happened. Sad.
I love you so much. You are such a wacko. But the point here being is this is confusing to me, right? Because okay, we can talk about where being gay might help you with hedonism maxing, which I think leads to more mental health problems. So I think that could be one of the reasons why they're so much lower than straight people.
It works for some people.
But Simone, what doesn't make sense to me here, right? Like if I'm just looking at this at face value, okay, gay men are much more mentally healthy than gay women, okay? But bisexual women are much more mentally healthy than bisexual males.
Yeah,
Now,
what's up with that? That is weird.
and presumably the bisexual like males.
No, actually, no. I think maybe the issue though is that all women are kind of seen as by default anyway. You know, like there's this whole thing about, oh, you all go through your lesbian period in college,
Oh,
right?
so you think that the bi females are being watered down?
And I think it's kind of tacitly understood that all women are bi anyway, because like I said, it's a trope to do your lesbian thing in college and to kiss a girl. I kissed a girl and I liked it as a song, and like all this stuff is just kind of, I think while people still view female sexuality largely on a Kinsey scale from like gay to straight, it's really not. People actually understand intuitively that women really don't care that much about gender. They may not go the step further required to understand that it really, female sexuality more has to do with dominance and submission, but they also understand that women just kind of don't care as much about the gender of the person that they're getting intimate with. So I think that the problem is that with men, there is typically a much stronger polarization of attraction to primary and secondary sexual characteristics. So when men deviate from that and are able to bridge the divide, they are seen as more weird, unusual. Like it's one or the other. You know, you got to be a magnet. You know, you're a plus or a minus.
Yeah. So
choose a team.
But here's the thing that makes sense. And I have a hypothesis here that I didn't have when I was putting all these together, but we're going to get to more stats in just a second.
Okay.
But like, I keep thinking to myself, why would bisexual men be like by far the worst off? Because presumably if they want to hedonism max, they can do that.
Right.
And if they want to live like a monogamous wife and have a family, they can do that as well.
And isn't that great? Yeah. Wouldn't most men want the option?
Right. Could be the answer. Okay. And it's the maximally offensive answer. Wait, can you guess what it's going to be? It's
no, I really don't know because this doesn't make any sense to me. I really don't know.
My mom used to always tell me. What do you think? Maybe she told me about bisexual men.
Actually, I don't know.
They don't exist. She said bisexual men are predominantly just gay men who are covering for it. And that would make sense. If bisexual is a self-category for a self-hating gay, then it would make sense that they have so much worse mental health problems.
Oh, because they're just not, they're like, you're not in the closet, you're not out of the closet, you're constantly slamming yourself in the closet door.
Yes. And there was actually a study done on this at one point, and it showed that of men who identify as bisexual, I think it was like 75%, or it might have been higher than that, actually only get aroused by one gender or the other. If you do like, you can attach like electrodes to their junk and show them stuff. And
who consents to that? How much do you have to be paid?
Yeah, so doing a little too much from memory here, so let's see what the study actually said. So the study I was thinking of was by Michael Bailey, and it was published in 2005. And it was called Sexual Arousal Patterns in Bisexual Men. The way it worked is a mercury and rubber strain gauge, a type of flimograph, it's like those things that they attach to your arms anyway, was attached around the member to detect changes in circumference as an indicator of erection. This is the electrode to the junk thing that I mentioned here. So the results. Bisexual men did not show a distinctly bisexual pattern, i.e. strong response to both male and female stimuli. Instead, their genital responses were more monosexual, mostly similar to gay men's patterns, stronger arousal to male stimuli, with some resembling straight male, stronger to female stimuli. The paper doesn't give an exact percentage breakdown, but the NY Times coverage on it, which was referenced, interpreted it as about 3/4, 75% of the bisexual men having arousal patterns indistinguishable for gay men. The remaining quarter similar to straight men. In other words, few, if any, showed substantial genital arousal to both genders equally strongly. Statistically, there was no significant quadratic relationship indicating a unique bisexual gender pattern. Those, I think 75% of those were just attracted to men, and then like 25% were just attracted to women.
Oh boy, that's embarrassing.
Anyway, yeah. What is this, Simone, you goof? You like looking at the kid?
Funny looks. He's just giving me funny looks.
Yeah, well, you know, it's your biology there. So let's look at other things here. Any mental illness in the past year. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay. So bisexual, we've got 50%. Lesbian, we've got 25%.
25% of having mental problems or good mental health?
had a mental health illness. So I find this interesting because it shows that gay and lesbian were a bit above heterosexual, but around the right range, whereas they were half of what bisexuals were. If you look at serious mental illness, so that was any mental illness, serious mental illness, bisexuals, it was 19%, gay or lesbian, it was 6%, heterosexual was 4 or 5%.
Whoa.
Major depressive episode, bisexuals, 26%, gay and lesbian, 14%, heterosexuals, 10%.
Wow.
Unaliving attempts, 26 to 36% bi. The gay higher one is lesbian, 30%. So over here, I've been reading whichever was higher, gay or lesbian, and it's been lesbian every time. So again, and then less than 5% for straight. Depression or anxiety risk, bisexuals are again 1.5 to 2x higher. Okay, let's go next. Here are some interesting ones. Interpartner violence.
Well, that's got to be lesbians, right?
Very interesting here. Okay, so female to male, heterosexual interpartner violence. So, and this is the level to which they're a victim of it. Okay, so women are a victim for men 35% of the time. Men are a victim from women 29% of the time.
And that's got to be higher because I bet it's really underreported. But sure.
Yeah. And I've heard ones of those that show that it's actually higher for women to men, but we'll get to, because we see it on air. Like I'm sure Macron wouldn't say that he's a victim of it, but he
exactly
obviously is.
That's the point. Yeah.
Again, male to male gay. Remember, women it was 35%, men it was 29%. It's 26%. So below. And there was a piece recently by Emil Kierkegaard that argued that when you correct for the fact that gays pair up less, as get in relationships less, it's actually slightly higher. Like gays will be with another partner without defining themselves as in a partnership. And so you really only get the very best partnerships claimed to the. It doesn't matter. We're not going to go into that. The point being is that gays are probably at around the rate of heterosexuals or maybe a bit lower. Lesbians, of course, really high, as you know, 43.8%.
Oh, ouch.
But here's where it gets interesting. Bisexual women, 61.1%.
What?
Higher than lesbians. And bisexual men are also one of the highest categories, 37.3%, but still less than lesbians.
Wild.
Now let's look at physical violence rates, because this is where it gets really interesting. Okay, women, 29.8% in heterosexual relationships, men, 26.3%. Gays, again, lower, 24%. Lesbians, again, higher, 36.3%. But what about bisexuals? This is physical violence. Women, 55.1%. Over half of women who are bisexuals have experienced physical violence from their partner. And for males, it's 27%. Okay, let's go to the next category here. Severe physical violence. What's this going to be? Women, 23.6%. Men, 13.9%. Gays in between, this time, 16.4%. And lesbians, again, topping everyone at 29.4%, except for... And I couldn't find the numbers for bisexual men here, but I found it for women.
Okay.
Women, for severe physical violence, if they're bisexual, 49.3%. Almost half of bisexual women are severely physically abused.
Oh.
Now,
wow, man. So, like, if you have a bisexual friend, ask them if they're okay today.
Yeah, no,
right?
Rape threats. I couldn't find it for male to male or female to female, but I could find it for women, how frequently they get this from their partners if they're in a heterosexual relationship. It's 9.1%. Bisexual women is 22.1%. Twice the rate. You see what I mean? Like these numbers are everywhere, even where you wouldn't expect them. Okay, let's look at, this is from the longitudinal study of adolescent and adult health. So we're looking at, have they undergone physical violence, forced intercourse, or threatened violence, okay? So bisexual males, physical violence, 11.1%, threatened, 18.5%, forced intercourse, 17.1%. So let's compare that to heterosexual males. You get 4.9%, way lower, 10%, that's for threatened violence, and then forced intercourse, 4.9%. So like dramatically, like orders of magnitude lower. If we go to bisexual women, this is also gets pretty interesting. So forced intercourse, only 2.6%. Remember in bisexual males, it was 17.1%.
Yeah.
And in heterosexual women, it was 1.4% only, but still like way lower than the bisexual women. I'll leave this on screen here. Basically, you're seeing the same patterns here. The key insights from the study: bisexual males were notably higher rates of forced blank perpetration compared to heterosexual males, with odds adjusted 5 times higher after controlling for demographics and other factors. Bisexual females showed modestly higher rates of physical violence and threatened violence perpetrated than heterosexual females. The differences were not always statistically significant. Okay, so a 2022 systemic review of 78 quantitative studies on domestic abuse perpetration among sexual minorities, including bisexuals, found consistent evidence that bisexual individuals perpetrate IPV at a higher rate than gays and lesbian people of various forms. So they aren't just subject to it at higher rates, they also do it at higher rates.
God.
If you have a bisexual partner, you are much more likely to be abused by them than you are if you don't have a bisexual partner.
I can get like the mental health rates and stuff, but this violence and abuse, I don't understand. Do you have any theories behind it?
Well, let's go more statistics here, because as the statistics, maybe you'll be able to piece these together and begin to pick out what could be causing this.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at dissolution rates for couples. Okay. What's their probability of breaking up?
Okay.
This is within 5 to 10 years. So lesbians, it's 12 to 14%. That's 2 to 3x the gay rate, and 1.5 to 2x the heterosexual rates. Gays, it's 2 to 27%, so very low over 5 to 10 years.
All right.
Heterosexual, it is baseline 8 to 22%, but with bisexuals, it's 1.5 times higher. So you're looking at slightly higher than gays, slightly less than lesbians. Let's look at poverty, right?
Oh, okay.
This one might surprise you.
Yeah, because I would expect poverty. Wait, I'm going to say poverty is going to be lower among bisexuals, because I would also expect bisexuality to correlate with growing up in a more wealthy environment.
Okay, so poverty for gay and lesbians, it's 14% is a higher number, and this is for lesbians.
Okay.
For bisexuals, it's 30%.
What? Why?
And it's at 2 for bis, it's at 2 to 4x the hetero rate.
Why? That's so weird. Because I just I typically associate poverty with being in like more rural, more conservative areas, especially in the United States. And you're just less likely to see people who are exposed to culture that presents being bi as an option. You know?
Yeah, it's the same with SNAP assistance. You're much more likely to be on SNAP assistance if you're bi.
What? That's so weird.
Okay, you see, I told you this is getting weird, right?
Yes, it is.
You didn't think this rabbit hole would get this weird, but there's something going on with bi people.
Yes.
All right. So let's look at the BRFS analysis, okay? So we've got a sexual orientation here, and we are looking at, so this is substance abuse.
Oh, okay.
So let's look at
substance abuse disorder or something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, substance use disorder, SUD. Yeah, that makes sense now. Okay.
Okay. So for women, for straight women, it's 13.8%. For lesbians, it's 26.5%. For bisexual women, it's 32.2%. So look at men. For straight men, it's 20.7%. For gay men, it's 32.2%. For bisexual men, it's 32.4%. Not chopping the chart as much, but still chopping the chart across. See the patterns holding.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at alcohol specifically. Okay. Is this gonna buck our trend here? Heterosexual women 9.1%, lesbians 15.9%, bisexual women 17.3%. Not bucking the trend. Okay, let's go with men here. Right. Heterosexuals 13.5%, gay men 18.9%. So significantly higher in gay men. Note that. Bisexuals 15.7%, the first one to buck the trend. Okay. Bisexuals don't drink as much.
Well, finally.
Let's look at unaliving attempts. Okay. So heterosexual males 0.4%, gay males 1%, bisexual males 1.5%. Okay. Heterosexual or straight women 0.5%, gay women 0.9%.
Yeah.
Bisexual women, 2.1%.
Whoa, the worst. I would have expected, because typically men are more likely to go for it, you know? That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so let's continue here. Homelessness and housing instability. Another chart here. Lifetime rates. For bisexuals, it's lifetime instability, 32%, current homelessness in use, 36%. Within gays or lesbians, it's 26% to 19% again, so much higher for bis. Discrimination. Now, this one was so interesting to me. So interesting. So what you might say, and a hypothesis could be, is bis are more discriminated against than gays or lesbians, because they are discriminated against within the LGBT community as being infiltrators or not real or not, their identity is constantly invalidated. And this is true. You do see that. I mean, you had me saying maybe bis aren't real.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah. Here we are, perpetuating the issue.
Could explain it, right? If this follows the same trend we've been seeing.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So bisexuals, let's see their amount of discrimination. All right. So social acceptance of LGBT, right? Like, do they feel that this is within their environments? All right. For lesbians, it's 31%. With gays, it's 39%. With bisexuals, it's 20%.
What?
So slightly lower, but not as lower as you would expect from these other
charts. Why is none of this going the way I would expect?
Out to important people. With lesbians, it's 71%.
What does
basically it's like, are you out about this to your family and friends?
Okay. For
lesbians, it's 71%, gays at 77%, bisexuals is only 28%.
That makes sense.
Well, maybe they don't have to be as out, right? You know, like
you can do whatever you want to be because
But maybe maybe it's like having to live the lie is the bigger thing here or something. Okay, workplace harassment with bisexuals, it's around 66%. And gays, it was lower than that, but I don't know the exact numbers.
That makes sense. I actually am in the middle. I just started reading a book called Whistleblower, which is the tell-all book, because I want a Silicon Valley tell-all book.
You love those?
I'm crazy about them. I loved Bad Blood. I loved Burn Book by Kara Swisher. I really enjoyed Careless People by Sarah, whatever her name is, about Facebook. And now I'm on Whistleblower. And this is by a female employee at Uber. And guess what? Already, like right at the beginning, she just drops it. She's bisexual. Totally not relevant as far as I'm concerned so far. I don't know why she had to bring it up, but yeah, like she's bisexual and she's...
All of these whistleblower books are like ultra urban monoculture people trying to infiltrate organizations that aren't urban monoculture. And it's their struggles to force the organization. That's what the Facebook one was.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the person who, like, so far, the person who wrote this Uber book, while bisexual, is not coming across as super urban monoculture. I mean, I guess she is, because while she came from a hyper religious family of 5 that grew up in severe poverty, her entire aspirational youth, like young adulthood, was oriented around entering the university system and navigating it. So she basically got, I guess, urban monoculture-fied within that part of her life, arguably. But yeah, I mean, it is notable that she's a harassed whistleblower and also very superfluously or gratuitously bisexual. Like, I don't know, like most people don't like start out books of like, you know, I wouldn't start my biography being like, you know,
it's not even a biography.
Asexual,
it's about you being at a company, right? Like your day job. Yeah. And you start it with, let me tell you what I do with my vagina.
Well, and also, but like you can be sexually harassed and be gay, straight, bi, lesbian, or asexual or trans. Like, it doesn't really matter, you know, like it doesn't matter what your orientation is. What matters is what other people did to you. So yeah, I did find that notable. It's interesting. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, so to continue here, let's look at social isolation between these communities.
Oh,
because, you know, we were talking about, well, maybe they're more discriminated against, maybe they're more like less out there.
Yeah.
And so with men, for straight, 10.2%, gays, 15.4%, and then bisexual, it's 18.7%. So slightly higher, but not enough to explain the other results. With women, For heterosexual, it's 12.1%. For lesbian, it's 16.8%. And for bisexual, it's 19.5%.
I don't
Again,
get it.
I
Being
never-
bisexual is strictly a privilege. Again, you're the altering
Yeah,
vehicle of
why are you
sexuality.
more socially isolated if you're bisexual?
Yeah, you
woman?
have you've double the options of everyone else. I'm so confused. So confused.
Double the options, people. I love the way you look at things. So you're delightful. You have double the options.
Yeah, I mean, I should be the most, right? Like if I grew up as asexual gay for Malcolm, like I don't know what is it supposed to be like, hetero romantic. I can't remember whatever. But like you'd think asexuals are they going to be the most miserable, right? Because they have the fewest options or something. Bi people. This is so confusing. No, I want answers, Malcolm. Give me answers.
Well, we're gonna make it even more confusing here.
No, what is wrong with just okay, go on.
So again, you look at some of this recent data and you might be moving towards maybe bisexuals just get it in their head that they're more discriminated, right?
Yeah.
And that leads to all of these downstream effects, right?
I mean, so many of the mental issues that we've discussed throughout this podcast, throughout our relationship, throughout whatever, it really does have to do with contextualization. If you see yourself as a victim, or if you even with really harmless, non-polarizing things like poor sleep, people who believe they've slept poorly experience more symptoms than people who think that they've slept well, report having slept well, but per a sleep lab analysis, sleep poorly. So believing you have a problem, it can be way worse than actually having a problem, even if it's, something is non-mental health.
So we've got a hypothesis.
Yeah.
Okay, now we've got a study here, the National Probability Survey from 2019 of 1,617 LGBT adults.
Okay, decent sample size. Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay. So microaggressions and offensive comments. All right. Gay men, 57% experience it. Gay women, 55% experience it.
Huh.
Bisexual men, 50% experience it. Bisexual women, 48% experience it.
But so fewer out.
68% fewer.
And I can't even think of like a slur or insult or discrimination I've heard against bi people.
Well, me saying that I don't think they're real is probably one of the most common. Be like,
But
oh, you're just in the closet. When are you going to come out of the closet? That's a common one.
I don't know. Is that discrimination? Anyway.
They could consider. Okay, well, let's go to slurs. Okay.
Well, wait, what's a slur for a bisexual person?
It's the thing. I don't know one. This could be it. This could be why they don't get insulted much. But for gay men, it's 62%. Lesbian women is 58%. Bisexual men is 55%. Bisexual women is 52%.
I know, but I know words that are not nice for gays and lesbians and straight people. But what's a word that's not nice for people?
A butt trader? I'm gonna ask Google because I want to know, what are slurs for bisexuals?
Yeah. Okay. Me too.
Hit and bi slut.
What? I've never heard that before.
Those are lesbian forum words. Unicorns.
That's considered it's a compliment. Yeah, bi-het. Bi-het. Oh, like bi-het, bi-slut, switch hitter, AC/DC.
Straight gay confused.
Fence sitter. In a phase, actually gay. Oh, I like actually gay.
Actually gay.
Yeah. Other regional or informal slurs or phrases, sometimes language specific, such as toothpick in Portuguese. 57? Oh, toothpick in Portuguese meaning used by both sides. That's fun.
In a phase.
In a phase.
He's in a phase. No, but I think that this shows that a lot of the gay community doesn't believe that bi people are bi, right? By males.
Yeah. Okay. So it's only a slur insofar as someone is questioning your commitment or like the legitimacy of your. But yeah. Okay. Wow. I don't know. Like comparing that to the slurs of other affiliations. All right, fine, guys. You guys get really easily offended.
Okay, let's go to the. No,
but keep in mind that these people are also very mentally frail. So
okay, let's go to sexual harassment. Okay.
Okay.
Gay men 54%, gay women 50%, bi men 48%, so lower. Bi women 50%, so the same as lesbians. Transgender 72%. I really doubt transgender people are being more sexually harassed. I think that they
Well,
just
being,
consider
every time you're misgendered, you're arguably being sexually harassed. So
Ugh.
if you're not passing, and so many people,
I would feel sexually harassed if a trans person took it upon themselves to feel sexually harassed by me for misgendering them.
Well, so here's the thing, like if you're trans too, I feel like no matter how either insulting or accommodating someone's trying to be, you could arguably be sexually harassed. Keep in mind, like, let's say I'm trying to pass as a woman and I'm a trans woman. So let's say someone's trying to be really nice, like,
today.
oh, you look so sexy today. Like, oh, your tits look great, right? Because they're trying to like affirm your transition, but then they're sexually harassing you as a woman. But if someone misgenders you, like, sir, would you please, and then they're harassing you because they're not affirming your gender. So no matter what someone does,
always the victim.
Yeah, then you're going to be sexually harassed. So I can understand the trans thing, but bi, because also like the number of people who are out as bi is so low. How can people even know to insult you? I don't know. I don't know enough to make you feel bad. Even if I wanted to, I wouldn't know. I'm so stressed.
Violence and threats. We get 53% for gay men, 49% for gay women, 47% for bisexual men, 48% for bisexual women, 75% for trans. So again, about the same across the board here.
Okay,
Bathroom harassment.
That sounds surprising.
28% for gay men, 30% for gay women. Really, do that many gay women get bathroom harassed? That doesn't sound like something straight girls would do.
I think where gay women feel threatened and stuff is like men gooning, you know, like I want to watch you.
That's not bathroom harassment.
I don't know, Malcolm.
Then bisexual men is only 25%, bisexual women is 27%, so like way lower here. And then transgender all is 65%. So I'm going to stop right here for this one so that we have enough time for dinner, because I realized that this is going on a bit longer than I thought because there's so many stats to go over.
Because, oh my God, what's going on?
What is going on? And you might want to do some extra research yourself if you're coming up with any hypotheses on these in between the filmings.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So this is end of part 1 of this episode, at least for our recording. We're going to try to figure out some answers and we'll get back to you with a little not Spider-Man, Batman interstitial. You didn't watch Yeah, did you? Did you watch the live action Batman?
I've like seen clips of it, but I don't.
You need to actually watch the real live action Batman. It is.
When and where were you watching this?
I don't know where I watched it actually, because I watched it when I was a kid, like on TV. But the dude was a little tubby. Like it was great because he wasn't actually very toned at all. He's just tubby
guy beating up criminals.
Welcome to Dunbar's Batman and Robin. What'll it be today?
I am a little hungry.
Of course, Robin. Even crime fighters must eat. And especially you. You're a growing boy and you need your nutrition.
Hamburgers, medium rare.
May I recommend Bat Burgers?
Bat burgers?
There's not even a lot of, it's just bam. Like it's more like the sound effects that harm the criminals and stuff. But he's like tubby and just wearing slightly stretchy clothing.
I can only imagine like that slightly tubby, because he is a little tubby. I've seen it. And he pulls like a thing off his belt and he throws it at the guy. And I can just imagine in real life it just like smacks the guy in the head and they're like, ow!
It's so good. It's so good. And also like the bat phone has this really distinctive sound that was used in a lot of electronics of the period. It sounded exactly like my mom's alarm clock. So then after that, like every time my mom tried to wake up, I'm like, it's the bat phone. Oh my God. So there's just so many things about that show. But yeah.
Why are you so delightful, Simone? You are a great wife, a great mom. Husband. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate you. I'm so gay for you. Or I'm so bi for you. I don't know what I am for you, but you're pushing the buttons I have. I don't know what they are.
Store today looking for fish sauce and I couldn't find any. So
what store did you go to? Oh, you went to Redner's?
Redner's.
Oh.
So I was picking up beer anyway, so it's like I'll check to see if they have fish
I
sauce.
need to get rice cakes. We should have asked you.
But we can. What I might do is add a bit of chili oil when you're reheating it.
No, I tried a little bit, and I thought any more fish sauce would have ruined it. So I was glad I was short on it. Are you sure?
Because you could really taste the fish sauce, right?
Yeah. So when I saute it tonight for your rice, I'm going to put in some chili oil. I think that would be great. It could use a little more kick, but I would not put in more fish sauce if I were you. I think it's perfect on the soy sauce. I think it's great on everything else. It just needs a little kick.
Yeah, maybe a bit more pepper. It feels very underspiced for a dish that's supposed to be very spicy.
I think if I saute it in chili oil, it'll do the trick.
It'll do the trick. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what else would I ask for? No, nothing else.
Snuggle.
Over rice. People often eat this with fried egg, but that seems like a lot to make.
No, I can do a fried egg for you on top. That sounds fun. Why not, dude?
Nice and like
you got the coop. I'll give you an egg from Stalin in honor of the Nick Fuentes week we've had.
Yeah.
I cannot believe Tucker Carlson did not push back when he's like, well, it was a meaningful day for me because I love Stalin so much.
Yeah.
Maybe he said he was going to come back to that, but he never did. And I'm like, come on. Like, you don't let someone get by with like.
I think he also said he liked Hitler and Tucker Carlson never like pulled on that. Like,
I mean, everyone acknowledges like the Hitler stuff, but like Stalin? I mean, because here's the thing. If you're
this is what I'm saying. Tucker Carlson's a CIA asset.
I guess. If you're a Holocaust denier and you don't actually think that like there was a Holocaust, then maybe Hitler wasn't that bad of a guy. So like in that universe.
Yeah, I was the one who explained this to you. I was like, yeah, it's not so bad if
he didn't actually do it. If the cookies couldn't have been, if that many cookies couldn't have been baked, right? But Stalin, he's not questioning what Stalin did. And he just thinks he's great.
Well, no, here's the thing I don't get.
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really cool. So, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go.
So he thinks Hitler is great. Like there's this one where he goes, Hitler was sort of into like pagan-y stuff, and Hitler was sort of into like, I think gay stuff or something. And then he's like, but he was still really cool. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. Why do you think Hitler was cool if you don't believe the Holocaust happened?
Universe, though, is like both the Holocaust didn't happen and Hitler was gay.
Right. I'm like, why do you think that Hitler was cool if the apparent reason for you thinking he was cool, I think it's because he thinks it did happen just on a smaller scale, like a couple 100,000, which for him is at a cool level of genocide.
Yeah, it's small batch processing. It's the microbrewery of genocide. All right, it's still hip. It's the Edison bulb artisan.
You are so going to hell for this, Simone.
I really am.
You make jokes that are inappropriate for our audience.
Your artisanal genocide. All right, I gotta go get the kids and change a really poopy diaper. I love you. I love you so much. Hi, Malcolm.
I might have enjoyed digging into Zoran Mandani more than Nick Fuentes, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
that was fascinating.
That was fascinating.
Because you really wanted to know more about those bisexuals and what the heck is going on here.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about it, and I'm no closer to an answer. I really because there's some conflicting things in here that don't make sense to me. So I want to hear some more evidence. I want to maybe with more information, I'll come to more of a conclusion.
Maybe with more points for triangulation.
Yes.
We will find out what is wrong with the bisexuals.
We must triangulate the problem.
But it is fascinating. So, okay. So I decided to be like, okay, like let's look at other things like, conscientiousness and stuff like that. I was like, maybe what it is this is going to correlate with some personality trait and everything's going to make sense. Right? Yeah. So I decided to go to conscientiousness as a personality trait, right? So if you look at men, heterosexuals, they're at 33 to 35 on this. If you look at men gay, they're at 31 to 33 on this, so about the same. Okay. And if you look at bisexuals, they're at 30 to 32 on this. So they're a little lower. So basically gay men are a little less conscientious than straight men, and bisexual men are a little less conscientious than gay men.
You'd think that gay men would be more conscientious. I mean, think about how much effort they have to put in just to looking good to other men.
I know, right? It is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so with women, we get for straight women at 34 to 36, For gay women, 34 to 36. So exactly the same conscientiousness levels. For bisexual women, it's lower, 32 to 34. So it is still following this pattern of bisexuals being the outlier, but not in like as big a way as you would think, right?
Right. Yeah. And also, like, what if that's just downstream or highly correlated with mental health problems, which we've also already seen.
Right. So then there's, me coming in here, and my answer is always going to be, it must be that they're more urban monoculture infected than other populations, because bisexual is an identity that fundamentally you can choose, while gay and maybe lesbian are less choices of identity sometimes. Because if you are like genuinely attracted to both genders, you can just choose to ignore one, right? I thought, well, then maybe that means that these people are more urban monoculture cooked than other populations, right?
Yeah, that would make sense. But then actually...
But here's the problem.
Okay.
So what would be a good proxy for that, right? A good proxy
Being
for
trans.
that would be how they vote.
Oh, okay.
So let's look at voting patterns, right? So what percent lean left versus what percent lean right, okay? Straight men, 40%, 40 to 45% left-leaning, 50 to 55% right-leaning, okay? Gay men, and this must have been from a while ago because I know it's moved pretty big since then, but back then, and this is around when all of these other data points were collected, it was around 70 to 80% Democrat, 15 to 20% Republican. But if you look at bi men, they're more Republican, 60 to 70% liberal Democrat leaning, 25 to 30% Republican leaning. So they seem to be less captured by the urban monoculture than the gay male population. Let's look at women here. With women, it's 50 to 55% Democrat liberal leaning to 40 to 45% right leaning. This is of straight women. But then when we go to gay women, it's 80 to 85% Democrat, 10 to 15% Republican.
That checks out.
You go to bi women, it's 65% to 75% Democrat, 20 to 25% Republican. So they're more Republican, bi women and men, by dramatic margins.
Surprising.
Okay. Let's go to mental health issues, but break it down by type of mental health issue. Maybe this will have the answer for us, right? So let's look at just women here to start. Lifetime mood disorders. So for straight women, that's 30.5%. For lesbians, that's 44.4%. So more in lesbians. But then in bi women, it's 58.7%. Lifetime anxiety disorders. Straight, 31%. Gay, 40%. Bi, 57%. So again, we're seeing the same pattern. Bi's off the charts on everything here. Depression for bis, for lesbian and straight women, it's about the same. For bis, it's about 2x the rate. Unaliving chances, 3 to 5% for straight women, 25% for gay women, 40% for bi women. Bi women are just off the charts. Okay, substance use, 8.5% for straight women, 20% for gay women, 25% for bi women. Psychological distress, they found it in, I think it was 72% higher. It's difficult to tell what study this is from, in bi women than straight and gay women. And if we're looking at males here is where we see a bit different of a pattern than we've seen before, okay? So if you look at lifetime mood disorders, you see 19.8% in straight men, 42.3% in gay men, so way higher than in gay women, mind you, and 36.9% in bi men. Lifetime anxiety disorders, 18% in straight men, 41% in gay men, 38.7% in bi men. So again, down in bi men. And then the substance, well, that's, the study seems to be less distinct. Okay, so that's where we are. That's all the data. Can you piece anything from that?
I feel like I'm just more confused than I was before.
And I do realize what the first one I was looking at here, this was neuroticism. So what it is for heterosexual men, 15 to 20 on whatever scale they're using. For gays, it's 25 to 35. For bis, it's 30 to 44, so slightly higher neuroticism.
Yeah.
For women, it was 18 to 22. There was no significant difference in gay women, but it was higher slightly for, oh, no, actually, that could be pretty big, 20 to 40 for bi women. So it could be higher neuroticism levels.
Maybe. I mean, there's so many ways in which they're outliers. So I can't chalk it up to neuroticism. I mean, all these things correlate too. Like you would expect these things to correlate. So I don't find it surprising that if they have higher levels of depression, that you're going to see higher levels of neuroticism or higher levels of perceived discrimination, for example.
Do we need to summon Ayla to the podcast to answer this question? Is she going to have
Ayla,
an answer of what's wrong with bi women? Bi men too?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, maybe I can ask AI to summarize what Ayla has said on what makes bi people different.
Yeah, because this is I don't know if she's answered this particular question yet, but it is a pernicious question, like the mystery fertility strip we did an episode on. If you haven't seen that episode, you should watch it if you like this one. It was pretty weird. There's like a strip down the center of America that has like stupidly high fertility rates, and there's not an obvious reason why.
Yeah,
just spent the whole episode overlapping maps with it to try to figure out what map best overlaps to this weird strip in the middle of the United States.
So according to her writing, that is Ayla's writing, bisexual individuals, especially women, exhibit distinct patterns of attraction compared to both straight and exclusively gay individuals. She notes that women display a more polarized arousal spectrum, with bisexual women often demonstrating upticks at both the lesbian and straight ends, suggesting more flexibility or more switchiness in sexual orientation compared to men. Ayla also highlights attitudes toward BDSM are defining characteristic, noting that people with preferences for BDSM, sometimes termed BDSM bisexuality or BDsexuality, form a very distinct cluster, not always related to trauma, but instead corresponding with how arousal, intimacy, and relationship preferences manifest. She suggests that some bisexual or queer individuals report a transformation in their sex drive and enjoyment when engaging in kink relationships, which may not happen with more vanilla sex for these people.
Okay, I didn't fully grok what she was saying when Simone said this live, but it makes sense to me now in editing. And it's actually a very insightful point that only Ayla would have because she has all of the data. Basically, she's saying that bisexuality has a really high overlap with having an extreme amount of severe kinks that you want to engage in real life with other people. And that this may lead to, well, and then obviously I'm saying here, Ayla isn't saying this here, that this may lead to the negative effects of bisexuality on individuals.
Sexual satisfaction appears strongly connected to the mode of sexual expression rather than only the gender of the partner. But see, that's more just female sexual arousal.
Yeah, this doesn't explain why bisexuals are off the charts and everything here.
Yeah. In community commentary on her data, contributors propose that birth order and family dynamics may influence homosexuality or homosexual and bisexual development, with submissions indicating environmental and genetic factors. Again, that has nothing to do with this. So no, Ayla doesn't, at least according to AI summaries.
The reason I wanted to call Ayla in on it is I think she'd find the problem interesting.
Yeah.
And the problem that no one has really tackled, like no one has called out something, because everybody always is using this data to talk about something else. And so the weird bisexual outlier always gets blown off.
Yeah.
But I think when you really pull it all together, you're like, there's something going on with bisexuals.
There needs to be like an Ayla bat phone, just like the red phone.
An Ayla bat phone. What's going on with the bisexual?
The ringtone of the Ayla bat phone. We have to figure that one out.
But it's a fascinating statistical phenomenon.
Yes.
It is one that my go-to answer, it's because they're more politically cooked, just doesn't seem to fit the data.
No.
So I don't know.
And also it doesn't, you would think theoretically that it would just be a strict benefit. Perhaps, I mean, one theory that I can posit, at least in today's day and age, because most of these statistics are from fairly recent polling, is that we live in an era of choose a camp, like you need to be in a category. And bisexuality just really hasn't established a very strong identity as a unique identity in the oppression Olympics in any sort of realm. And maybe that's because among different sexual orientations, it actually comes from a position of technical privilege, even if it is not discussed as such, because you actually have more optionality than any group, even cis.
I just had an idea, and I'm going to check it. I want to see if bisexuals are maybe are much more promiscuous.
Could be,
because this could explain it.
But in general, because bisexual people both are actually kind of privileged technically. And because they don't really.
Oh, we might have found it here.
Wait, okay, so they're more promiscuous?
So bisexual men, those who have sex with both women, have more sexual partners per year than either gay or straight men, suggesting about 2.5 to 3.1 more partners annually.
Whoa.
Compared to gay men, which is 2.6 partners. In terms of sexual activities like cybersex, sexting, threesomes, both bisexual and gay men report higher engagement in those behaviors than straight men. Bisexuals versus straight lesbian women. Bisexual women show broader engagement in varied sexual behaviors, solo masturbation, cybersex, sexting, threesomes, compared to heterosexual women, and often at similar rates to lesbian women. Bisexual women, however, report a slightly lower rate of orgasms compared to both straight and lesbian women. 58% for bisexuals, 61.6% for straights, and 74.4% for lesbians in one study. Isn't that fascinating that they're getting off less than either straight women or lesbians? So it's not a hurting her, it's the men problem. It's a them problem. Lesbian women typically report the most sexual satisfaction. However, when they do have the highest rates of orgasm. The frequency of partnered sex can be lower for lesbian couples than for straight couples, like blah, 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 blah. In the first 2 years of a relationship, 67% of gay male couples have sex 3 times a week. 45% of straight couples do, and 33% of lesbian couples do. That is fascinating. It could be a frequency of sex issue.
That having more sex leads to all these bad things?
Yeah, I could see that. Especially if it's with multiple partners, because your body could release like hyper stress responses if you're a woman and you're doing this. And if you're a man and you're doing it, especially if you're doing it in a submissive position, which I think is probably more likely for a lot of bisexual men, that could also cause weird stress responses.
Well, but also to your point, like in any culture that maximizes hedonism, it's almost a guarantee of misery when you try to pursue that. So perhaps this is also correlated or downstream of hedonism maxing, and that ultimately moving people more quickly toward the realization that they're never going to get the pleasure they seek, even though they're seeking it more desperately than others.
Which means the sex doesn't actually give you like any sort of meaningful, lasting pleasure.
Correct. That's interesting. I don't know if I buy that. Maybe that's just because I'm reading Whistleblower right now and the author is bi, and she's a completely miserable person, but she didn't seem to necessarily spend most of her life.
But she fits the pattern. She comes off. She's
miserable, but she's not more promiscuous.
You had a B session about her for like 20 minutes this morning. My wife doesn't go to an office to complain to me about other women. She reads whistleblower books by progressives about their Silicon Valley jobs. And then every morning I deal with a session of her being like, oh, can you believe she did this, this, and this? Oh, I'm so glad I'm not her. Oh, she complained about her boss being the patriarchy. I love this. I love this. This is me sending you to work so I can have you. Do I do that about anyone? I guess Ellie Eiser's the only person where I'm like, oh, yeah, so annoying.
You do that. You absolutely do that. But yeah, I mean, she isn't necessarily more promiscuous, so I'm not 100% sure I buy that, but I could see that, and I find that very. But then again, like, you would assume also that increased sluttiness would correlate with more political progressiveness. And it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't have to. I mean, there's lots of perfectly slutty conservatives.
In the bi community, I don't know, whatever. Look, this is for our.
One thing that I am thinking about, though, is remember in the times when we've participated in group events, like at Vibe Camp and at Less Wrong, when Ayla did the lineups by body count, where she had every member of the audience line themselves up by the number of sexual partners they'd had in their lifetime. So you go from people who are virgins, like at one end of the line, and to people who have the highest body count at the other end. Invariably, you were always at the end of the line. I mean, not the final end, but at the end. You were the only cis straight dude. It was all dudes at the end.
It was all dudes at the end, but
they were all bi. They weren't gay. They were bi, because I talked with them, because I'm like,
they were bi. Okay, so all of these guys who are so this requires a bit more explanation. So Ayla at her events, and we've gone to a number of her events, she has this shtick she does, which I love it. It's fun, where she lines everybody up by body count. And Simone's always at one end because she's only slept with me. And I'm always at the other end because we haven't mentioned this on the show, but recently, like we did it a lot in the early show and people used to comment like, Malcolm bringing it up again. But when I was like a teenager, not a teenager, I'm talking like college, high school.
You were a slut. You were a slut.
Like,
There's no other way to put it.
I was like in the triple digits, like well into the triple digits. And what I realized is that my level of sluttiness is almost unheard of in straight males, potentially because it's just so hard to achieve.
Yeah.
And I will say,
get that many women to sleep with you is incredibly.
It's not worth it. It's not fun. You find nothing at the other end of it, you know.
And it's risky. I mean, every time you sleep,
yeah, I mean,
especially today.
Getting somebody pregnant or something, which, you know.
Yeah, very dangerous. However, yeah, I would when going to these events, of course, I want to like understand what's going on with the people who are at these outlier ends. And it's easy enough to know what's going on with incels, but it is something that you wonder about with the people at the very high body count end. And yeah, I remember them like distinctly, because at first I was like, well, they must be gay dudes. No, they were bi. Because I remember that really standing out to me when I talked with them. And so that like bi and very much part of like sort of the group sex world of the Bay Area, if you know what I mean.
No,
like orgies.
A good example of this is like Destiny. Destiny seems like he probably sleeps around a ton.
Maybe, but also like think about this. If you regularly go to orgies, I think it's really easy to get a high body count, especially if you are bi.
Oh, true. And
yeah.
well, that's going to mess with your brain as well. You know, no guy wants to see another guy having sex with a girl. Well, I mean, do you know how big cuck porn is? It's huge. Oh, yeah, you're right. We should do an episode on that, by the way.
Yeah, we probably should. It's just, I don't know. It's so dark. I don't know. It strikes me as very dark. I don't know if I want to know more about it, but we probably
I heard it's like the top search term in Japan or something.
Like globally, I think it's astoundingly popular, which really confuses me because it's like the nightmare scenario, genetically speaking, for men. Like that's why I don't.
Yeah, I've explained this to you that you've got to keep in mind that cuck porn is not just for men who get off.
Oh, right. It can be for men who get off on the idea of being what do they call them?
The bull.
The bull.
Yeah.
I was going to say stud. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that I guess the sluttiness hypothesis of bisexuals is going to be a running theory for now. Please chime into the comments with your theories. You too have listened in to this deluge of stats. Maybe you have a better synthesis than we do. Yeah, I feel like people.
And if you come up with a good enough theory, we'll do an episode on it.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Because I don't feel completely satisfied with this, but the Ayla lineup experience does reinforce it. So anecdotally, I feel like there's some confirmation there. All right, thanks, Malcolm. This has been elucidating. I love you.
Love you too. Oh, and I will point out that back when I slept around a lot, remember I was in a much worse mental state. Like I ground my teeth. I had to wear like a night guard every night.
That's true.
Yeah, I was in a lot more daily stress.
And then when you went monogamous, you were actually able to get rid of the night guard without completely ruining your teeth.
Yeah, no, I haven't worn a night guard in years, and I would break my teeth if I didn't wear it even one night back then.
Yeah, I remember the night guard. You had to bring it with you when you slept over at my little apartment. My little Alameda apartment.
I could be evidence here.
Ooh, okay. Well, good. I feel more sad. I was really worried we were going to come out of this episode unsatisfied. Thank you for that.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. All right. I think I sent